Hello everyone and welcome back to Nightwind Archer. I hope you've been enjoying the adventure so far. We have a lot that has recently happened. So apparently I had just died and then was resurrected from the dead due to an amazing, beautiful voice, aspect of nature that is, well, I guess it's a spirit. I'm not really sure what it is, but it or she, whatever it was, raised me from the dead and gave me a second chance at life. I am gonna have to pay it back, I think, at some point, but I'm more than happy to, as far as I know, just because it seems like a good force. That could come back to bite me. Maybe it's not as good as it seems to me, but I guess we'll find out if that actually happens. And anyway, Kai wants to speak to me about everything that just happened. So anyway, it's going to be a great episode. Let's go ahead and dive in. But one of the first things we got to do is we got to look at our map. And there's two things that we need to do. We need to report to the ambassador, talk to him about me being raised from the dead. And also we need to find the Watcher. Oh, but I was told I can go to this Watcher, but the lady that healed me, she said, hey, if you go to this Watcher, she's a con. Don't go to her. Well, maybe not this one. She said there's a Watcher in the north of Paradise, and don't pick that one because that's a con woman. So I guess maybe this one here is the right one. So we're gonna just go to the embassy really quick because that's the closest one. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, how you doing, Kai?
People seem more agitated than usual.
Well, I'd be agitated too if people were getting shot in the streets. A drink, take that. Hello, Liviana.
You're looking well.
Thank you. Show me what you have for sale. Right to business as soon as I'm up. Hey, let's trade. Anyway, I need to talk to her because I do need to sell some stuff. In previous episodes, I was able to gather some gems, some beautiful gems. Turquoise is an amorphous, semi-precious stone, opaque and blue or blue-green in color, but often flecked with darker deposits. Prospectors have claimed that they are abundant in the wetlands north of the Emerald Stair. Well, we're gonna go ahead and sell this. And the amethyst. And the agate. The Adra I gotta keep, because that's an upgrading material. I gotta keep that. But other stuff I can pretty much get rid of. Most of this stuff, well, I guess I don't need these. I'll sell some of this stuff, but some I need to keep because I can deconstruct it. So I think I just wanted to sell that just to get what gold I could. I don't want to, spend too much stuff. Looks like all she's really got is health potions and a few things here. I have some gold. Maybe the health potions might be worth it. I'll just get two. I'll get 2 health potions because they're so important. And I don't know if I can actually create health potions on my own. What is this? Ah, a letter from Fior Mess Iverno. And I already know, based on previous episodes, that Fior Mess Iverno is a city where all of the animancers live. So let's see what this is about. Liviana, Emerald Stair is not the same without you. My animancers are in desperate need of guidance. I understand why you left, but your talents are wasted on that nest of vipers. When you've had enough of healing the body, come back to us and work on healing the soul. Ignacy Vidaro, governor of Fior Messiverno. I've seen this guy now twice. This guy, Ignacy Vidaro, he was the one that sent a letter to the Claviger. And the Claviger had requested that this guy send animancers to help heal the forest. That didn't work out. Unfortunately, the Claviger was murdered. Well, I say murdered, but I don't know. Apparently, the governor has said that the bear killed the bear killed the Claviger, but it just didn't make sense. Why was the Claviger rested up against a rock?
I had a dream about you.
Why was the Claviger rested up against a rock, not even in the same grove that the bear was in, but the other ambassador was completely fine? I don't know. I think foul business was going on. I just don't trust the ambassador all that much for some reason. Even though he's supposed to be on my side, we're supposed to be on the same team here, something about him I just don't trust. But anyway, what's this? Foraging notes. I've compared our local herbs to the same ones imported from Adir. If my findings are accurate, then everything that grows in the living lands is more potent. Everything. Cures as well as poisons. Of course, all the best ingredients grow in the deadliest part of the jungle. So, maybe I should harvest a few seeds and pay someone to grow them in the republics, just to see what happens. Or maybe I shouldn't contaminate the mainland until I understand what I'm dealing with. Yeah, more potent herbs, I would not be surprised in the living lands. Did you talk to me?
In my dream, you were surrounded by light, but it was shining from inside.
Wow, those are some very interesting, vivid, potentially accurate dreams. Ah, yes. I've always got to take as many health potions as I can. Man, people are messed up. There's blood all over this blanket. Friendly warning. Do whatever it takes to bring back the envoy. I know you used to be an animancer, and if you still have any of your old equipment, well, some of us are willing to look the other way. Wow. If the envoy dies, I cannot guarantee your safety? A friend. I don't know. It doesn't sound like a friend would say that. A friend wouldn't say, if he dies, you're screwed. That's not a friend. I wonder who would tell her that. And by the way, according to that letter, Liviana used to be an animancer that lived at Fjord Messiverno. So, that's interesting. But anyway, we've got to get to point B. We have to get there. Can I jump up here? No, too high. All right, well, let's go this way. Maybe up these stairs. I hear...
Interested in saving a couple of
See, there's a quest right here, but I'm gonna pass it on up. I'm going to do... I think I'm gonna do all the quests. I just don't like being overwhelmed with too many quests. I'll come back for them. Okay. Okay. This is the right area. Hello, my fellow comrades. Hey, Garrick, how you doing?
Died. But you're here. Gods, am I glad to see you?
Believe me, I'm glad to see you too, and everybody.
None of the clerks believe my story.
What story? The story of what we went through? Yeah. The Cartographers Guild, Volume 1. Long has the renowned Cartographers Guild served the emperors and queens of Adir. It is we who are responsible for the creation and distribution of the many maps throughout the empire. Whether to direct travelers throughout the expanse that is Adir, guide ship captains on the voyages throughout Eora, or simply adorn the walls of an aristocrat's home, one can rest assured that the Cartographers Guild is behind the creation of every one of these works of art. For over 2 centuries, since the Noble Expedition Corps discovered the Eastern Reach, we have worked and labored to keep all of the Empire and her colonies supplied with accurate, high-quality maps. God's willing, we will continue to do so for centuries yet to come. Ah, more lore added to my library. So some of these books, I read them and they get added to my lore library, and some of them don't. I wish all of them did, but... Adir Customs. Oh, you guys ready for a long read? Adir is a country rich with custom, and they are known for their strict adherence to them. Their customs run the gamut from grand celebrations like the Feast of Feasts to mundane superstitions, such as ways to avoid Svef addiction. Huh, well, Svef, that's the first I've ever heard of that. This volume will focus primarily on the bigger celebrations, as no one knows how to throw an extravagant party quite like an Adiran. The Feast of Feasts. The biggest and most important of all Adiran customs is the Feast of Feasts. This week-long celebration happens the first week of Fanestu, or Deep Summer, and is dedicated to honoring the life of the first Verkunung. I have no idea how to say that. Each day of the week is devoted to some aspect of the Verkuning's. I'm just going to say Verkunig. I don't care if that's not the right way. I'm just going to say it because it's easy. Each day of the week is devoted to some aspect of the Verkunig's life, and they are very specific dishes to be served at each meal. The Feast of Feasts originally began as a festival celebrating the birth of the Verkunig's first son and soon became a yearly occurrence during the week of his birthday. Currently, Adirans simply use it as an excuse for a party and pull out all the stops in an effort to outdo the previous year. And lest you wonder, as I did, each Verkuning is honored during the Feast of Feasts. It is always the current Verkuning. For each Verkuning is the first and only Verkuning. Okay, so every time this feast happens, they say the first and only Verkuning, but it's not really the first because it's just whoever the current king is, I guess. And yeah, so that's what it is. And yeah, so that is a king, right? Verkuning is a king, right? Okay, it didn't actually ever define what a Verkuning is, but I'm assuming it's the king. Sweet treat. A special custom that arose at some point during the Feast of Feasts, sweet treat started as a way to keep children occupied so the parents could dine in peace. While it is still used for that today, significance has been added to it. Each treat is placed in a container, usually small metal boxes, and hidden somewhere on the property. After everything has been hidden, the children are sent out to find the treasures. It is said now that the hidden treats represent Glanfathan artifacts, and the children are the explorers, bringing the riches back to their new and rightful owners. Okay, so it sort of reminds me of like Easter, like when, I don't know, it depends on where you're from, but in America, there are certain traditions where on Easter Sunday, and some agree with this and some say we shouldn't do this, but whatever. There's a tradition where little eggs, like plastic eggs, are filled with candy or money or something, and then parents will go and hide the eggs all over the yard or in different places in the trees and stuff, and then after the parents have hidden the little plastic eggs, then the children will go running through the yard or through the place and try to find all the little eggs with the little treats inside, the hidden eggs. And that's, I guess, an Easter tradition. So this thing called sweet treat, it very much reminds me of that. It's almost like the same thing. Carnival of the Mask. When the original colonists for the Adir traveled to the new land to found the Deerwood in the name of the Adiran Verkuning, they encountered the Glanfathan people. The Carnival of the Mask celebrates this meeting. Originally, it was merely a formal reenactment, as a play, of the tensions between the Glanfathans and the Adiran settlers, but has since evolved into much more than that. Participants choose sides and come dressed in elaborate outfits depicting which group they have decided to align themselves with, Adirans or Glanfathans. Everyone attends a masquerade ball, and this party replaces any resemblance of the play that was presented. So basically, it's evolved over time. Winter's End. Winter's End was never anything more than an excuse for a celebration, and it hasn't changed in all the years it has existed in Adir. It takes place during winter dusk and lasts all 3 days. People use the time to reflect on the year, celebrate their lives, and remember the dead, especially those who have passed in the recent year. Well, that's sad, but at least, you know, that's a good thing. It's a good thing to remember the people that have passed away. I wouldn't call that just a reason to to party, but maybe it is for many people. Good. That was added to my thing. Oh god, that one's gonna be a big one. Contrary letter. Ambassador Hylgard, I have maintained order in Paradis for many years. I know this city. When there is a good leader and a fair policy, there is peace. But you have allowed the Steel Garrote to terrorize my people and to sow distrust and fear. I suggest you tighten your Inquisitor's leash, or the embassy might not carry your banners for long. Claviger Emond. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. My suspicions are proving to be correct. The Claviger sent a message to the ambassadors saying, hey, you need to pull back the Steel Garrote. You guys are getting out of hand, or I'm going to destroy your embassy. That would be motivation, and that would be a motive for the ambassador to take the Claviger out so that his embassy doesn't get destroyed, and it could even be at the request of the king. I knew it. I know that the bear didn't do this. Or if the bear did it, then the ambassador led him to the bear on purpose to be killed by the bear. Either the ambassador killed him and then blamed it on the bear, or he led him to the bear and then the bear killed the Claviger, but the ambassador kind of led that event into happening. I just don't trust the ambassador that that's what really happened. And I don't know. I haven't played the game like deep. I've only stayed in this intro area, so I really truly don't know, but I just have my suspicions. And I feel like this right here, this note is absolutely confirming those suspicions. Okay. And then the Adir Empire Part 1. Okay. Here we go. And by the way, for people that don't know, they're probably not even listening to this part of the video. They probably skipping past the reading. But I do love to read the lore. In fact, on the banner on my channel, if you go to my like homepage, there's a banner at the top that says lore focused Let's Plays or something like that. I love to read the lore. I love to read the books. I love to read the notes. Because it gives me more of a history of this place, and I want to really feel like I'm inside of this world and I'm living in it, and I know the history and the people and the cultures. I want to know it. So anyway, I do read all the books, and if you don't really like that part, then you can always skip past it. I put timestamps in every single video. All right, so the Adir Empire, Part 1, Origin. So this is the origin of the Adir Empire, which is where I come from, or well, where my character comes from. In approximately 2200 AI, that's an interesting. Oh, Adir Empire. Is that what that means? Adir Empire? AI. A group of tribes called the People of the Deer unified into a new civilization called the Adir Kingdom. Maybe AI doesn't stand for that. I don't know. The tribes, small and widespread over the land, knew it would be better for their continued existence to unify. The leaders of each tribe became advisors to the king chosen by the group. Each advisor would still be lord over his people, but each lord would answer to the Farkoning. Okay, so here's actually how you pronounce it. Farkoning. First king. Okay, now it makes sense. Farkoning. This, or is it Kuning? I still don't know what O double dot means. It's not a normal English letter, so I think it's for Farkoning. Okay, anyway, this decision was exactly what was needed, and the Adiran kingdom thrived, spreading across the land and establishing strong trade routes. The Adirans became known as fair but shrewd businessmen. While the country thrived and internally there was little strife, there were still the occasional skirmishes with the neighboring elven kingdom of Kolklin. Not long after the kingdom was formed, the Adiran people began studying animancy. still largely unknown at the time. Animancy was an exciting, terrifying new realm in which the Adiran scholars saw great potential. This potential came to bear fruit in 2260 AI. Okay, 2260, so 60 years later, when a group of animancers working together transferred the soul of a recently departed man into another body, creating the first of what would later come to be known as the undead. Wow. The reaction to this discovery was swift and decisive. Both the King of Adir and the Church of Wotica condemned this event, and the study or practice of animancy was outlawed. It would never again be practiced openly in Adiran soil. So they transferred the soul of a dead person that just recently died into the body of another. And it was called undead, I guess, because the soul of the dead person is now alive or living again in a new body. Which is very, very strange, because the soul of this person is now in a new voice with in a new body with a new voice that doesn't even sound the same as the old person, or look the same, but behaves the same because it's the same soul, I guess. And so this outlawed animancy because they thought it was so horrible. I did watch a lore video before starting the series to kind of catch me up, and I know that that's not the entire story, but I'll leave it at that though. Conflicts with Kulklin, which is the Elven kingdom, continued, escalating into a minor war in 2398 AI. Let's see, when was that? So that would be 23... Damn, that's 140 years later. Afterward, a treaty was signed and the kingdom of Adir merged with Kulklin to form the Adir Empire. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I said Adir Empire earlier, AI. Empire is spelled with an E. The heck? Wow, I am so sorry, people. AI, it's not Empire. Oh my god. That was awful. Anyway. So anyway, they merged, and now it's no longer the Adiran Kingdom, it's now the Adir Empire, where the Elven people are now combined within them. With the political and military strife now settled, the Adir Empire would become an economic powerhouse, able to acquire and generate resources that were difficult to obtain in other parts of the world. The Empire's trade routes became some of the most lucrative in the world. So I'm sure that was a very good thing for those two kingdoms to kind of merge into one. Oh my god, there's so many books. I don't want to bore you guys though. Stilgarot Report. We found this book on a public bench. After careful study, our scribe confirmed the handwriting matches the signature found on scrolls of Tain's chaotic orb. Be advised that Tain is in the Living Lands. As a member of the Circle of Archmagi, he has license to go where he pleases. We will observe him at a distance, but no one is to engage him. Tain is either a harmless fool or one of the most dangerous people alive. We simply can't take that chance. Tain's diary. Oh good, it's not very long. Dear diary, here I am in the Living Lands. This island might not be the safest vacation spot, but it's certainly the most colorful. Also the most flavorful, according to these mushrooms. And mushrooms seldom lie. Before I forget, I promised Bekarna I'd bring back a souvenir. There's rumors of a fallen star in Emerald Stair. Could be a nice addition to our collection. By fallen star, I think he's talking about a meteorite. A message is scribbled on the inside cover. If found, please return to Tain the Archmage, author of Tain's chaotic orb. So apparently he's a powerful animancer. And then behind we have, expanding borders. Okay, here we go. This is part 2, guys. Look, I know this is a lot of reading, but I want to do it, and you can always skip it. In 2602 AI, Adiran explorers returned from over the ocean, telling tales of the ruins and treasures there and of expansive fields that were perfect for growing vorlace. I have no idea what vorlace is, but I assume it's like wheat or something. The explorers warned the Furkuning that the locals were not friendly to outsiders, but the Furkuning, seeing this as an opportunity to extend his empire and secure trade with another continent, sent some explorers. Over the next 20 years, the area that would become the Deerwood was investigated, mapped, and colonized. In 2623, which is now 21 years later, the first permanent Adiran colonial settlements were established. Vorley fields were set up north of the forests of the Deerwood, but between the conflicts with the Glanfathans and the War of the Broken Stone, it floundered. It wasn't until 2643, so 20 years later, that the opportunity presented itself again. Some Eothasian pilgrims wanted to escape persecution, established colonies and Vorley farming operations in the territory of Reed Saris. With Grand Valia on the verge of collapse, the Furkuning wanted to ensure his hold on the purple dye trade would be established. He encouraged this settlement and even paid to have the pilgrims set up in the New World. Okay. Because of the Furkuning was still trying to secure his name in the purple dye trade, he was unable to properly respond to Admeth Hadret when he issued his ultimatum. To avoid a rebellion and leave himself time to oversee the Vorley farms in Reed Saris, the Furkuning relented and made Admeth a Gref Palatine. I have no idea what that means. In return for his concession, Admeth spent time and resources on the Deerwood's trade and shipping routes, benefiting the Furkuning with increased income. For 7 years, the Deerwood provided Adir with a steady income, leaving the Furkuning time to ensure his trade system within Reed Saris was strong. With the Furkuning's attention elsewhere, Admeth instituted the 10 Years Treaties, ending slavery in the Deerwood and permanently removing one of the revenue sources provided by the Deerwooden explorers. The artifacts from the ruins scattered throughout the Deerwood. At this point, the Furkuning's word meant almost nothing to the citizens of Deerwood. Admeth Hadret had replaced him as their true leader. In order to undermine Admeth's standing, the Furkuning found allies willing to explore the ruins against the treaty conditions and plunder them. Soon, Adir again had a supply of artifacts to sell. When his agents were eventually caught, the Furkuning distanced himself from the operation, certain there was no way to link him to the proceedings. Okay, I see what's happening here. But the Graf, using means provided to him by his Glanfathan allies, discovered the evidence needed to prove that Furkuning was behind the plunders. The conflict that arose from this revelation led to Admeth declaring independence from the Deerwood in 2668 AI. After a bloody 4-year-long war that resulted in the death of Admeth, the Furkuning relented. Trying to keep control of the Deerwood had become too costly. He signed treaties with the new Duke of the Deerwood and returned his attention to Reed Saris, redoubling efforts on the Vorley trade, which is still running today. So there you go. The Empire, the Deerwood, is separate from Adir. They've earned their independence over many years of war and independence, so good for them.
Envoy, is it really you?
Yeah, it really is me.
I can't believe you're alive. When they dragged you to Liviana's clinic, I assumed the worst. How do you feel?
How do I feel? Well, I feel disoriented, lightheaded, and my pulse is racing.
And yet you rallied your spirits and reported for duty. Your dedication is admirable. But we'll return to the topic of your untimely demise shortly. Our first order of business is your purpose here in the Living Lands. Captain Cynric said you have a missive for me from the Emperor.
Yes, here you are, Ambassador. This is the missive I've been tasked with giving you.
Very good. I'm eager to see what our Emperor intends. Now, His Majesty names you a loyal servant of the Adiran Empire, and an extension of the throne's authority. Thank goodness. At least someone understands the gravity of our situation.
Yes, His Majesty is concerned that the Crown's efforts in the Living Lands could be jeopardized by the Dream Scourge.
With that, I had better news for him. You've seen how wild the Living Lands has become, both in nature and in politics. Sometimes I think the island has a mind of its own. No sooner had you arrived than you found yourself at the center of our troubles.
Yeah, I also found an arrow in my guts.
Trust me, we'll get to that. This embassy has no shortage of political foes, but the Dream Scourge is what keeps me up at night. You've seen firsthand what it can do in nature. We can't let it reach the cities.
Right, well, I guess that's assuming that it's not already here.
Inquisitor Ludwig thinks the plague is a distraction. She's more concerned about these local rebels fighting against the Empire.
You know, I have to wonder, is the Living Lands really worth all this trouble?
Absolutely. The value of this island cannot be overstated. It's just that the plague, and now these rebels, stand in the way of progress. They've sabotaged our work, killed our soldiers, and the final straw, attacked you out in the open.
Well, he never actually told me what the value of this island is. He just said, oh, it can't be understated, and then never said what the value of the island is. I mean, I'm assuming gems, resources, I don't know, but I would like to know exactly what the value is. Anyway, well, why go after me? I just got here.
All the more reason to strike first, or so the thinking goes.
Whatever their reason, we have to retaliate for the good of the Empire. I won't lie to you, Envoy. Our position is tenuous. If we can't even defend ourselves, how are we to defend the Living Lands? But defend it we must, for the sake of everyone who calls this island home. Inquisitor Ludwig demands that someone hang for the attempt on your life. These Paradisen rebels must face justice.
Where is this Inquisitor Ludwig that I keep hearing about?
Ludwig goes where she likes, haunting the Living Lands like a vengeful spirit. She'll reappear when she chooses, and not a moment sooner. Let's make sure to give her some good news for a change.
Not many get a chance to solve their own murder, you know. I know someone who could help. A dwarven tracker named Marius. Kith or beast, there's little he can't find. He's staying at the Grinning Ballarrock, not far from Liviana's infirmary. We just take the main road east to the market, then head down the stairs and cross the canal. Rough part of town, even by the standards of Paradise.
Well, I mean, you've proven to be pretty capable so far. What is it that he can do that you can't?
Blend in, for one thing. Marius is from the Tusks, about the harshest and remotest place the gods ever created, even by the standards of the Living Lands.
Trickery, lies. The gods did not build this place.
Let's just say no one survives out there without picking up a few skills, the kind we'll need if we're going to find hidden assassins. Especially if they're from the streets of Paradise.
I suggest you recruit as many allies as you can, but choose carefully. They, like you, will represent the Empire. But before we can send you off to parts unknown, we need assurances from the local healer that you're fully recovered. After all, you survived a brush with death. The health of your body is one thing. The health of your soul is another.
Okay, we can't just pass that up. The voice came in and she seemed to be offended when Kai suggested that the gods made the Living Lands. She said, lies, the gods did not build this place. So she built this place? And I'm saying she, but that's just because it has a female voice, but it almost sounds like that's very interesting. So the Living Lands were not created by the gods according to the voice. So who did create it? Her? The spirits? I don't know. Lots of questions here. Anyway, back into it. Well, Liviana suggested that I visit the Watcher.
An unusual course of treatment, but who am I to argue? Remember, the assassin is out there. You have the element of surprise. I suggest you use it.
Okay, Kai, I need you by my side. Can I count on you?
Tracking down mysterious assassins with a godlike who returned from death, all while the rumored dream scourge spreads? Can't say I'm prepared, but I'm ready.
We'll talk more of the Dream
wow.
Scourge when you return. Until then, Envoy.
How about we start with Marius at the Grinning Balrog? Besides, I could use a drink after all this.
That sounds like a fine idea. We will go to the Grinning Balrog and see if we can find Marius? Did he say? Yeah, we'll find Marius. But let's take a look at these books back here. But a lot of interesting things here. The ambassador. Yeah, there's just a lot going on. So, letter to the Inquisitor. Inquisitor. I have been in Emerald Stair. Okay, Emerald Stair, I think, is also the general location of Fier Mesiverno, which is where the Animancers are. I've been in Emerald Stair long enough to confirm our worst suspicions. The people of Fior Mesiverno care not for the laws of mortals or gods. Animancy and folk magic are peddled in defiance of Woedica. Their crimes are innumerable, their way of life intolerable. All is not lost. Politically, they are unstable, too focused on themselves to notice our eager hands tightening the garrote. We await your order. Your friend in the forest. Okay, so your friend in the forest. So the Inquisitor has a spy out in the forest spying on the Animancers. And apparently, if it says we await your order, the Steel Garrote plan on attacking the Animancers. They must, because that's what this guy's suggesting, is that the Inquisitor Ludwine, which makes sense because the Steel Garrote they praise Woedica, and animancy are crimes according to people that follow Woedica. So, Adiran dialects. The sun does not set on the Adiran language. Those of us who commune with this proud language or some derivation of it populate every corner of Aora. Most of us who speak this wonderful tongue know it as Adiran, but scholars and those obsessed with correctness often qualify it as modern or contemporary Adiran. This is to contrast the language you and I speak today with Eld Adiran, the old elven language that was spoken in the Adiran Empire back before the pioneer settlers of the Deerwood built their longships. If Eld Adiran could be considered the mother of the living Adiran, the language of Hylspeak could be seen as Adiran's cousin. Hylspeak is fading from common use, but many of the elves, especially the older ones, in the Adiran heartland still use this dialect. Whether you know it or not, if you can read these words, you can understand Hylspeak. It is almost identical to Adiran, but includes a large vocabulary of archaic words that have fallen out of use in today's Adiran. When you hear bards sing old Adiran poems, there are often lines of chorus that sound like melodic nonsense inserted to complete rhymes. These are usually instances of words that are lost from our common language but still used in Hylspeak. While Hylspeak is familiar to speakers of so-called modern Adiran, the same cannot be said for the language's predecessor. Eld Adiran is a dead language, spoken by academics but not used in any major community. Eld Adiran words are often familiar to Adiran readers, but the words use orthography that has since been abandoned. Unfamiliar ancient marks abound. For example, Eld Adiran contains some diphthongs that have no place on the modern Adiran, as well as a few tricky consonant clusters. EA creates an Aya sound that sounds like the colloquial salutation Heya. EO sounds like AO. this sound is still used in the modern word Eora. Aora. Aora. Oh, am I pronouncing it wrong? A is pronounced as Ae, such as in Wraith. A. Oh, okay. Eighth. Okay. UE and U double dot both create long oo sounds like as in loop. Y makes an E sound like in B. GJ sounds like the consonant Y in U. Y. Wow, GJ goes Y. That's weird. SC sounds like shush. So you know, like in shop. So you would pronounce SCOP as shop. CG sounds like J, like at the word like hedge. It is not uncommon for given names of Dirans, Dirwoodians, and Reedserans to come from Eldadiran. So for example, Aldwin is pronounced Aldween. Because of the Y. Because of the long vowel sound, yeah. Dernisk is pronounced Dernish, since the final SC cluster sounds like the SH sound. GJ, Jester is pronounced, Yester, right, on account of the GJ consonant cluster. Sleg is pronounced as sledge. Thirst, Thirsch, okay. Uskrim is Ushgrim and not Usgrim. Okay. Ingmar is pronounced Ingmar. Okay, leading with a vowel sound. Okay, so that should help with pronunciation of the ancient words that are used here. Uh-oh. Ambassador Hylgard's journal. What are we gonna see in this? I must admit, it is proving impossible to build diplomatic relations. The locals have a natural distrust of outsiders, and we have nothing they want. Inquisitor Ludwine believes that time and pressure will prevail. Would that I shared her confidence. Ludwine, under her gaze, I feel scrutinized down to the bone, picked apart like carrion, and stared through by a pair of cold, motionless eyes that have glimpsed too far beyond the veil, reducing me to some depraved pilgrim who prays only for her ossified claws to work their way under my skin, liberating me from this pathetic envelope until at last we are bound together as a skeletal pair, limbs intertwined not as two beings, but as one. There is no shame in being attracted to power. Oh my gosh. Nevertheless, I must keep such feelings to myself, lest they be met with revulsion, or worse, enthusiasm. Okay, so he's into Inquisitor Ludwine. Okay. All right, well, I don't yet know much about Ludwine. In fact, I know nothing about Ludwine. Hardly, other than apparently she's kind of in charge. She has this air of being in charge. Also, Kai wants to talk to me about everything that just happened with my whole being born again thing. But we have someone we need to meet. We need to meet Marius. And hopefully Marius can help me track down...
Envoy, could I speak with you for a moment?
I will come back and speak to you at some other time. I'm very busy at the moment. Thank you. I have to get out of there. Always people trying to pull me away. Oh, yes, I could definitely use that. Let's see, let's go this way. Oh, there's stuff on the ground. Oh no, that's his coins.
Just need a little to get by.
Looks like you got a little. No, I'm not gonna take it. That'd be so messed up. Oh, what's this back here? Dagger, just laying around. And we've got ourselves a nothing, just a little place in the back. Okay. Anyway, let's get over here.
This may not be the prettiest part of town, but it's got the grinning Balrog.
Yeah, it does seem like maybe the poorer side of town? There's a lot more
You
beggars.
saved my life. He would have killed me, and all for a few coins.
Think nothing of it. Any law-abiding citizen would have done the same.
Ah, okay. So we have an Enduran soldier helping this guy.
Paradise is getting more dangerous by the hour.
And are you thankful at all for the Enduran that saved you? And by the way, I will be taking this as evidence to investigate.
Nothing to see here, Envoy. The situation's under control.
Yeah, and what situation is that exactly?
I caught this waste of life mugging a protected citizen. I just did what came naturally.
I thought all Paradisans were protected citizens.
These things happen from time to time. Inquisitor Ludwine understands. I assume you do too.
Well, if the guy was threatening with a knife... But look, if you can, bring the next one alive. We're peacekeepers, not butchers.
So that's how it is. All right then, whatever you say. We aren't exactly trained to de-escalate, but I'll tell the others. They'll come around, eventually.
Good.
I'm not sure she'll take it to heart, but even one good example helps.
Well, I mean, if their life is threatened and they feel like, they could potentially, die or something, then do what you need to do to protect your life. But let's see here. We got more stuff. Spoiled food. I don't want spoiled food. Oh, this one's that's a good apple right there. All right, are we finally getting close to the grinning Balrog? All right.
Don't go starting trouble.
I'm not. Looking for somebody.
So, you're the one they all crow about, eh? Best. Ha! The mighty Marius, deep in his cups, ready to take on the deadliest prey, providing they're asleep at the time.
Right. Take another sip of my cool. Rude not to finish a drink someone bought for you.
No wonder you're hiding behind a mug. You're too worried about being polite to survive out there.
The dwarf there is Marius. Best tracker I know.
Well, a real expert should be able to withstand being taunted by their lessers.
Just watch. This'll be good.
I heard you're from Solace Keep. How great a survivor could you be, hiding behind stone walls all your life?
You don't know anything about me, you Adiran Nimdut. So maybe go back and take another blessed day sip.
But here you are. Tell me, how does one get kicked out of a place that never lets anyone leave?
Dukte Drago Sakasat Jatule.
What?
You want to talk so much, I'll cut you a second mouth across your throat.
Marius, do you think we should step in?
Marius can handle himself. Of course, if you're bored, we could always start something anyway.
I'll let him handle this for now.
I think this is about to get interesting.
I knew you were blessed in Nimdut the moment I saw you coming. Thought maybe I'd teach you a lesson. So I paid the bartender a few gold to drop a tiny bit of Widow's Kiss into a cup and serve your drink in it. Cramps should be starting in a few minutes, so, if you want to fight, we should go ahead and get started.
Interesting. Widow's Kiss is a powerful venom, but it's only deadly if it's injected.
You know your stuff, but I doubt they do.
Envoy, you see? Will you stand by and allow this maniac to poison a fellow subject of the Emperor?
Don't you have somewhere else to be? Somewhere you're not gonna get killed?
Oh no, Envoy. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Come on, Maili. Let's show these people why you don't pick fights in the Balrog.
All right. Oh, full weapons. Jeez, okay.
Next one's mine.
Didn't want to do this. I'm not even going to use my skills against these guys. You guys done?
Didn't stand a chance.
Thanks, Marius.
Come on, Amakul. You know you love it.
We make a good squad.
All right. Well, Marius.
Well, that was something. Haven't been to bar fight in a while. Never really saw the point.
Marius, this is the infamous Adiran envoy. Envoy? Marius.
Well, any friend of Kai's is definitely a person.
Okay, that's not saying much. Look, I need to find some assassins, and Kai tells me you're the best one for the job.
I need to see the scene of the crime, over by the town gates. I promise there's something left there we can use to track them.
Well, I already know that the killer is from Paradise.
Then they wouldn't need much of a reason to go after an Adiran official. Plenty of stale water there. Still, it's dangerous to make assumptions based on stereotypes. We need more of a trail to go on. We'll figure this out, Amakul. Don't you worry.
All right, new companion. Known as the best hunter and wilderness guide in the Living Lands, Marius has lived all over the Living Lands, but there is no place he truly calls home. Marius uses ancient Pargrunan stealth and survival techniques to gain the advantage over his foes, trapping them in gripping vines or disappearing from sight to ambush them with a silent attack. His senses are attuned to detect threats and objects scattered across the Living Lands. So binding roots, I've actually already got that skill. Hunter's sense. Order Marius to scan for enemies, loots, and plants in the Living Lands. I think that's going to be really helpful. Maybe I'll learn a thing or two from him. And now both him and Kai want to talk to me at camp. And by the way, bartender, I'm very sorry for everything that just happened.
Migrants flames. Don't go around picking any more fights, you hear? The patrons like it, but they're not the ones who have to clean up after it.
Well, not to be rude, but the floor is a bit sticky. When was the last time you cleaned anyway?
I like you. Takes balls to say that to the ones serving your drinks. Now, what'll it be?
Well, clearly I have balls. I just killed everybody. Do you really let people use Svef openly here?
As opposed to what?
Well, aren't Svef-induced visions unpredictable?
The way I see it, they're safer in here than they are out there. If someone starts thinking they're atheists, I can put them down for a nap.
Okay, well, I'm interested in what you know.
If you want information, I've got it. Just a matter of what you'll pay for it.
Oh, that's okay. On second thought, I don't need anything.
Suit yourself.
Okay, trying to sell drugs. To me, the ambassadors, or the envoy, actually. Alright, well, we can investigate the scene of the crime, or we can find the Watcher. I think the Watcher is not that far away. Investigating the scene is a little bit further away. So we're gonna head over to the Watcher, but the video is getting close to an hour long now. So I think that'll be it for this episode. And yes, I did do a lot of reading this episode, but that's what you've signed up for with this channel. This channel definitely reads the lore and reads the books, and I really enjoy understanding the world that I'm in. So I hope you've been enjoying it, and I hope you're looking forward to next episode, where I speak with Marius and Kai at the camp and see what they know about, or see what they, or just see what they have to say about everything that has recently happened. So I hope you're looking forward to that. Also, we will be investigating the scene of the crime, see if we can find out who is killing us, and we're gonna find a Watcher to see if the Watcher knows anything about the strange visions and coming back from the dead. I'm sure they've got something to say about that. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you're enjoying it. and I'll see you all next time.